Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another Premier Draft of Bloomburrow with one alchemy card added to every pack. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. When in Rome, when we're playing these alchemy drafts, I want to try out some of these alchemy cards, and the Cottontail Caretaker seems like a very strong one. There are a lot of creatures that become pretty inherently busted when they come with a 1/1 copy themselves for only 1 mana. So I think Cottontail Caretaker is a great card. Maybe not quite as good as Mistbreath Elder because I have found this to be an incredible synergy piece for green-blue frog decks, but it is the new stuff and it is still quite busted. So let's try out the Cottontail Caretaker here. Definitely wanting to play white ideally. Pick 2, don't love Traverse Valley in draft because there's not a lot of good non-basic lands in this format. So not that interested in that. Blue-white is a weird place to start with Cottontail Caretaker and Mind Whisker here, but these are both pretty good cards. We could head in that direction. Alternatively, green-white tends to play a little better more often, and Overprotect is an excellent combat trick for any green deck. Could also take Baker's Bane Duo, which is solid on curve. Yeah, the white spell is not exciting. None of these red cards are that good. I think Overprotect is the best off-color card outside of Mind Whisker. It's really Mind Whisker or Overprotect here. I'm going to go with the Overprotect. Just get aggressive, take the excellent combat trick. Pick 3. Ooh. Fountain Port Charmer, a 3-mana 3/3 frog bard. That's adorable, and it's got Offspring for 1, so you can get a 3/3 and a 1/1 for 4 mana, and when it enters, all creature cards in your hand cost 1 less to cast. Wow. So if you have some high mana value creatures, this could be great. Even just with 4 drops or 3 mana creatures with offspring abilities like the Charmer, that's going to be a very meaningful cost reduction. And this is the new hotness. I can see why it is still in the pack here, because this is a very powerful pack. There's an Overprotect and a Hop to it, and a Balin, which is good if you can get a lot of copies of Hop to it. But again, we're going to prioritize the new stuff, and Fountain Port Charmer seems genuinely pretty good. Again, at least like on par with these other cards. So let's grab the Charmer here. Pick 4? This is weird. Everybody opened up an Overprotect apparently, but I'm not complaining. I'll grab another one. Pretty simple pick here. The other good card for us would maybe be Cash Grab if we get pushed off white and towards black for squirrels, because this card is like the best forage enabler. It shoves 3 extra cards into your graveyard while you pick up the 4th one, and those 3 cards are enough to forage with, and you also get a food token to forage with as well, so it really enables that mechanic. But again, by far at its best in green-black, whereas Overprotect is good in anything green. Pick 5, Harvest Right Host is great in green-white. Green-white is the rabbit color pair, so we can get those extra card draws off of it. Very easy pick. Pick number 6. Oh, speaking of being excellent, this is really good with Cottontail Caretaker. Oh my god. 2 copies of Harvest Right Host on the board, so every rabbit gives +2/+0, and if you play 2 rabbits, you're giving +4 all around the board, and drawing 2 cards. And alright, yeah, that's great with the Caretaker. Pick 6. Lupin Flower Village is reasonable if we are going to be rabbits. We have 0 non-creature white spells so far, so the colorless mana this provides is not a meaningful downside yet. Sunshower Druid's pretty good, but again, better in frogs where you can pick it up. Witness is decent in bats, and it's pretty good with Caretaker, but without Caretaker, I don't think it'd be that good in green-white. Pick 7, what is very good in green-white is Head of the Homestead. This is great for any green or white deck, and really good in a green-white deck with Harvest Right Host. It's also really good with Caretaker, because this is an enter the battlefield trigger. So if I make a 1/1 copy of Head of the Homestead, that 1/1 copy of Head of the Homestead also comes with 2 more 1/1s. Yeah, Cottontail Caretaker kind of just seems inherently busted, as both of the white creatures we've drafted so far just automatically synergize incredibly with that card. And here's another one. I was going to say a third. It is a third white creature, but this is a second Head of the Homestead. Happy to take it. Pick number 9, Druid of the Spade is fine. It's a rabbit, and it's going to be a 4/3 trample a lot of the time. Pick 10, another Druid. I'm not that excited about Bravekin duo. It's weird. Some of the duos are way better in one of their pairs. They're supposed to be the cross synergy cards where, like, look, this is a rabbit mouse, so it's good in rabbit decks and it's good in mice decks, but it's like only the mice decks care about you targeting your cards every turn. This isn't that good in rabbits, because rabbits is much more about just dumping out, spending all your mana on like one head of the homestead and stuff like that, and then finishing with a rabbit response. All right, I mean, we're pretty locked in here. Literally every pick so far can just go into a green-white rabbit deck, so keep it nice and simple, nice and locked in, and open up a green rare for the deck. Let's go. There is a great red rare here, but there's not a lot of great fixing in the format, and when the mono green rare is probably just as strong, I think we just take that. Innkeeper's Talent is a busted card. +1/+1 counter on the board every turn. Eventually 2 +1/+1 counters on the board every turn. You can give everything ward as well. Card is really silly. But Resourceful Collector is the new hot stuff, which is pretty cool. This is an insane pack, by the way. There are 3 rares here that are probably all just Mega Bombs. Definitely Zoraline and Innkeeper's Talent, I know from experience, are some of the best rares in the format. And Resourceful Collector does not look much different, being able to recast everything from your grave over time. Another Resourceful Collector? Somebody's about to be so happy. Carrot Cake and Feather of Flight are both slightly awkward with Loop and Flower Village, but if worst case scenario I have to cut this, it's whatever. How is our actual creature curve looking? We need 2 drops pretty bad. I think I need to take Carrot Cake for something I can play that immediately affects the board turn 2. Get a creature out there. And it's 2 creatures off 1 spell, which is going to be good over time for Rabbit response. Yeah, Feather of Flight, another card that is better in red-white than green-white, because of Valiant triggers where you target your creature out of nowhere with that. Pick 3, Banishing Light probably. We're on no removal right now, we're only on Overprotect. Yeah, I think we need to take Banishing Light over a 3rd head of the homestead, even though that would be a good card here. Cool red alchemy rare. You can sacrifice this to put a card of your choice in the spellbook. A storm spell? That's pretty fancy. So it sits there constantly reducing your spell's costs, and then you like cast them all in one turn, sack this, and grab a storm finisher. That's such a fun build around. We're very much not the deck for that today, but maybe we'll have to play Blue-Red Otters one more time, even though it is the worst deck, just because the alchemy cards for it look pretty fun. We're definitely not playing 3 rabbit responses. We're not going to play a pileated provisioner. I guess I could end up playing a Sticky Tongue Sentinel if we get some Hunter's Talents. It's fine with Cottontail Caretaker, I guess. Got a lot of 3 drops already, though. I'm just going to grab this Haven. Pick 5, Nettleguard, just for another 2-drop on curve. Looks reasonable. Come and get it's also reasonable, but we've got a lot of non-creatures for now. Yeah, the rest of this draft is going to wrap up nice and simply for us. Cheap combat trick. I have 2 Overprotects, and I don't like running much more than that, especially in a non-Valiant deck, so I'm not going to have room for high stride, so I'll take the mediocre creature that fits into the curve better than the mediocre combat trick. Although here, again, since I have 4 3-drops, I guess it's sort of a 4-drop. But theoretically, 4 3-drops. I'm not very high on Thistledown players. I'll take the Stonear Strike. Some medium removal. Definitely take Nettleguard here. And Rampager at the top of the curve is fine. I don't think Life Greed Duo is very good without life gain synergies, which we don't have. It is very good with life gain synergies, though. Wow, we're really topping off the curve. I need 2 more spells to be at 23 non-land cards, and then we can just cut something every time we take a card, which is great. All right, 1 spell to go, and we've got an entire deck ready. And we're not even in the 3rd pack yet. All right, pack 3, what do you got for us? Ah, a Boros Alchemy Mythic Rare, and it's a really gross one. You get to draw a card from the spellbook every time a mice you control attacks. Once per turn, even if like 3 mice attack, you just get 1 card, but that's still really gross. Especially on a card that already has its own Valiant trigger. But for us, we can forage or ramp up into our bigger stuff. We don't really have any squirrels. But this is still a 2-mana 2/2 that taps for green, which is fine. I could just take another Carrot Cake because it synergizes a little better. Definitely weaker on average, but it actually does look better for this deck. I'm going to take the Carrot Cake here. If we draw it on a turn where we have 4 mana up and we've got a Harvest Right Host on board, we can like immediately get the triggers out of that. If we top deck it late game, it's a double scry and 2 chump blockers. It's just a card that plays a lot better than it looks. Base is fine. Usually going to be pretty good for the mana cost. You want to either draw the card or get the fish, but if you get either of those to trigger off of your 4 mana 4/5, you're getting a great deal. 4 mana 4/5 plus 2 1/1s or 4 mana 4/5 draw a card. Real good. We'll slam Bezos in here and cut a bunch of mediocre 4-drops to make room. Pack 3, pick 3. Baker's Bane duo's fine. Strike Force is fine. 3-Tree Scribe's not great here. We don't have a lot of creatures leaving without dying. Just take the Baker's Bane. I guess I have double Overprotect and Keeper's Talent. Those are all really cute with the Strike Force. Harvest Right Host is really cute with Strike Force as well. This actually might be sick here. I'll take the Strike Force. Oh, it's also a card that's really good with the Cottontail Caretaker. 1/1 flying double strike vigilance, still a scary threat. Here's Tree Guard Duo. Again, just for Strike Force combos. Plus, it's just a good card in general at 4. And it's another rabbit. Yeah, Tree Guard Duo is the sickness. I want to cut some Rampagers now, ideally. Baker's Bane Duo or Bark Knuckle Boxer better here? Probably Bark Knuckle Boxer. I don't think we care about the food at all. 2 Druid of the Spade. These cards are really close. Actually, I think I do agree with Baker's Bane Duo with the curve into double Druid of the Spade. Longstock Brawl will certainly get played here over the second Rabbit response, probably. I need one more playable to have a full deck again. Tap an untapped creature rather than pay the mana. Still might be kind of hard for our deck, but I don't think any of these other cards look good. I'll run that for now. This will probably be the first cut. Yeah, I'll play a Boxer. Actually, Warren Elder's better than Boxer in this deck because we're going so wide potentially with the homesteads and some of the offspring abilities. Take the Elder over the Boxer. And that'll cut the Epic. The curve is actually low enough we could play double Rabbit response. 16 lands here. But I already have the second Rabbit response. I'm not going to take a third. We'll take the Paw Patch formation. Another Baker's Bane Duo. Wow. Going to be options with this deck build. But I guess I could just run all the Baker's Bane Duos to definitely trigger the Druids, overrunning the Nettle Guards. Less main deckable artifact enchantment removal, but it's definitely a thing. They are 3/1s. The 1 toughness is pretty bad with 1/1 tokens running around in the format. So this is a 40 card deck already, and I can put 1 card back in and run 16 lands here. Kind of feeling a second Rabbit response. But this is a lot of 3-drops. And this is another 4-drop. Double Carrot Cake. Could cut the Paw Patch formation. But we already cut our other main deckable enchantment removal. So I kind of like having like the 1 piece here. And the really cute thing with this is turning these Druid of Spades on at instant speed out of nowhere. make a food token and use it as a combat trick is always fun. I don't know how good it is, but it's definitely fun. We do have 2 carrot cakes scrying away extra lands, maybe. The curve isn't as low as I thought it was. Okay, that is not the right way to do this. There, I should put the carrot cakes up there that way. Yeah, I'll just plop it there as is. We'll go for the 17 land build. One of our lands does turn into a creature when we're flooding, so that helps too. Just go for that 17 lander, and we will call it a deck here. Alright, here we are on the play for game 1. The one thing we really need to do here is top deck a white creature, because I'd be really disappointed to run this out without giving the offspring, so I think I just wouldn't do it. Yeah. At least the Charmer is going to make this cost 1 mana to cast, so there's that. Make up for having to play it off curve. Come on, white creature. Oh, Druid of the Spade. Druid of the Spade it is. That makes me really want to offspring the Charmer to get the +2/+0 trample on the Druid. So I'm going to start with the Druid then. So if we hit land 4, we can then offspring the Charmer. Playing against green-black from our opponent. Strike Force is the draw. That's what you want to see for the Caretaker. If I cast Charmer here, Caretaker costs 1, Strike Force costs 2, and I could cast Caretaker and then Strike Force with its offspring for 4 mana total. It's the only way I'm spending 3 mana worth on cards this turn as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Once again, really wanting to hit the land, but because we have double white already, it can be any untapped land in the deck. And we can double spell these with the offspring trigger. Into the rabbit response for just insanely lethal, even through some food. Unless they have the mythic rare black board wipe here, which I don't think we're supposed to play around as it is a mythic rare. Alright, that's the land we're looking for. This is going to be a beautiful turn. So 1 mana Caretaker. 2 mana Strike Force with the 1 mana offspring. And now the Druid's a 4/3 trample. This is a huge attack. And an even bigger one with the rabbit response next turn. Now this is pod racing, but it's also playing with the new alchemy. Good stuff. It's a bit of a little combo there. The Charmer to reduce the Caretaker cost and the cost of the card that it's spitting the offspring out for. That was really nice. Alright, they're green-black, so they can't counter the rabbit response, but I am sure they can have some combat tricks or removal up here, so we'll just see how deadly this will be. It is certainly our best play regardless, so we're just going to go for it. It's 12 damage in the sky. They have 9 life worth of food on their board, but only enough mana to eat 1 right now, and if they eat 1, they're not casting any other spells right now. Alright, let's see how bad this is for them. Alright, if their best play is to eat a food, then the answer is very bad for them. Not quite lethal. We get to keep everybody on board and hit for a ton, unless they've got a great 1 green mana spell. Apparently they have something for 1 green. The +1/+3 trick? That wouldn't do too much here. Yeah, that's fine. That is a-okay. Scry away some lands. We do lose 1 creature with this outcome, but... Oh, it is still lethal. Never mind. We're so fine. All right, here we are for game 2 on the draw. Slower hand, but the Fountain Port Charmer can actually speed things up. I think we just cast it turn 3 even without the Offspring, just to reduce the cost of all these so we can get double spelling soon enough. Oh, I mean, I could host first and then Offspring it. These are reduced by 2 apiece. Plus I have the maximum number of creatures because I have this Rabbit Response and Tree Guard Duo wanting a ton of creatures now. Alright, guess I talked myself into that. Just go all in on high creature count. Beza probably drawing us a card. Cool. Ooh. Beza Offspring is not that good, because the Offspring will die to the Legend rule, but we could get 2 triggers and draw 2 cards. Tree Guard Duo Offspring would be incredible, but this only gives white creatures Offspring. Yeah, these costs are absurd. This is a really good hand now, off of the Charmer. Thoughtstalker Warlock. They haven't dealt damage to me, so goodbye, Forest. Ooh, they have more creatures than me. Not when Beza enters, though. It's on the enter, not the cast, right? Yeah, we won't get the fish. Or the life, but I will draw a card. Do I draw the card, cast a Tree Guard Duo here? That seems fine. Yeah. Sure. Oh, I won't draw a card. What am I on about? I get a treasure. I'm getting all the abilities mixed up. The treasure's still good too, though. It's like I could Caretaker and Tree Guard Duo then, but then I've guaranteed I'm just getting Offspring of the War and Elder. It makes Tree Guard Duo bigger, so it's fine. Attack with a 3/3 double block like this. Yeah, it's fine. They're ETB effects, not stay on board effects. How bad do I want them to not reanimate a Warlock? Not that badly. Go for it. Wix Patrol, that's a great one. Ooh, their mana costs were too low, though. They could only kill our 2/2. Response. In response, I do that. Baker's Bane Duo. One final card left in their hand is just a Sunshower Druid, and we are winning by a lot on board and in hand here. I'm gonna play Duo and Overprotect here just to crush this board. They have literally nothing left. They're dead very quickly. There's the concession from our opponent. That's 2-0 heading into game 3. All right. A slower hand here, but again, Fountain Port Charmer can really speed up the end game. And if the host sticks around, that is our card draw engine. Ooh, there we go. That speeds up the hand already. Now we actually have a 2-drop. I could Paw Patch Formation instead to save a Carrot Cake for a 4-mana double host turn later. Fine. I don't think I'm doing that, though, with the makeup of this hand. I'm just going to Offspring Charmer turn 4. Draw to the Spade, though. Alright. Sorry, land draws. 3-mana 4/3 trample is kind of exciting, and it will definitely be a 4/3 trample. We have so many ways to make sure we've got a token on board. But now I could miss land 4 because I chose to keep that, and then I'm not charming next turn. Alright, Hunger the Druid is fine. We did miss land 4 for that, that's on me. I can paw patch formation to draw a card here, blind. And hope it's the land, or I can scry, and if it's the land, I would have rather paw patched. I could non-offspring the Fountain Port Charmer, and then everything's a little more castable. Honestly, doesn't seem bad here. Just gave us 3 extra mana, pretty much. Stop on the upkeep so I can eat the cake and scry during the upkeep, but I do not think that's going to be the right play. Another Nocturnal Hunger. Alright, that was literally a 3/3 no text at that point, so that is a super fine kill. Well, when I don't need that much mana, if it's going to keep being play a creature, creature gets removed, play a creature, creature gets removed, that's a winning strat. That's a 2-for-1, so a little less winning, but we're still ahead. Land 4 has arrived. I definitely want the host on board before I head to the homestead, so I'm going to play the host and keep the overprotect up here. They block the wall, crack the carrot cake, and kill the Swix Patrol and draw another card, and it'll be horrible for them. Alright, they didn't block. They saw through it. No blocks for me either. They've given me a ton of food. So my life total is super healthy. Thorn Plate Intimidator. Well, I'll just crack all the food they gave me, I guess. They're tapped out. I can go ahead and carrot cake as well for the scry. That is one less rabbit to try to double rabbit later and draw another card. If I hit a land, I can Tree Guard Duo and crack a carrot cake, and that triggers host. I actually don't think I'm cracking the cake right now then. Guess I could paw patch formation instead. That'd be fine. Alright, I'm gonna just sack these food to gain 3 for free, pretty much. This is the plan. There, I lost 6 life, but I sacked all my food and gained 6. Okay, I'm gonna draw the card to try to hit land 5. That's land 5, baby! Ooh, and a long stock brawl too? Not that there's anything on board I need to brawl here. Some cake. Trigger. A duo. Trigger, trigger. Draw the card. Beautiful turn. Opponent draws another non-land off of their boon. Tree Guard Duo is solid. Might chump here. I'm at 18 plus a food. 7 damage is a lot, but it's certainly not deadly. Let's slam trade with Wix Patrol. Or a slam trade into their overprotect or whatever. Vine Reap Mentor. Alright, now I can head to the homestead with the overprotect up. Beautiful. Draw another card. It's gonna be 3 triggers. I think I do that then. Sure. Do we give them a fish here? I certainly don't want to play Carrot Taker without the offspring. And I feel like Harvest Right Host has done its job. If they top deck removal, I don't need the overprotect immediately. I mean, it's already a winning board state. It's probably a little risky to blow the Longstock Brawl when it's our best removal, because Sonar Strike is only going to hit attacking creatures or tapped creatures, but the Brawl plus Overprotect can kill like a 6/6 that's sitting there with a good ability. Bonebind Order. Alright, that's a really good one, because that can pick up the Wix Patrol. So are we saving the Overprotect for when they use Wix Patrol, maybe? Maybe. I could see it. Well... yeah, I mean, this just attacks and trades into Order, and then they bring something back. Yeah, no, this is fine. Hello! Beautiful draw. Potentially the strongest card in our deck. Longstock Brawl the Tree Guard, or do I just Sonar Strike here? Actually, I think I Sonar Strike. Because they double block, then we Sonar Strike, then next turn they pick something up and don't have the mana to recast it if it's Wix Patrol yet. Because it's 4 to pick it up. If they top deck a basic land, they could cast the Wix Patrol, but they can't pay for the ward. And if they don't top deck a basic land, then they can't even cast the Wix Patrol in the first place. They need 10 mana. Alright, they can cast the Wix Patrol, but they can't pay for Harvestrite Host's ward, so they're just going to concede. Innkeeper's Talent is disgusting, and they don't want to deal with that anymore. We get to start things off 3-0. We've got an undefeated run all the way into at least 50-50 now, even if I lose every other game. So an excellent way to start off this draft. Kind of the polar opposite of our first shot at the Alchemy drafts. Innkeeper's Talent is back. We're on the draw, not playing any creatures till turn 3 with this one, but we've got Innkeeper's Talent Strike Force. If our opponent's on a more dirtily hand, this is a destructive hand of our own. And blue-red is a more dirtily archetype generally. Do I play around take out the trash here if they have all their mana up? I don't want to Strike Force and have it just get blown up. 2 mana, deal 3 in response to me trying to put a counter on it. And blue-red is going to have a lot of spells, like burn spells and stuff. Yeah, if they have a bunch of open mana here, I think I have to play around removal, because even a Druid of the Spade with a counter on it's going to be bad here. So we play around the removal or the counter spell by starting with the more expendable card. They still kind of have to kill it if they have removal. They have a draw 2. All right. Now I can get to the ward, which is pretty cool. Light Shell Duo. Well, I need to put another counter on Druid of the Spade to actually attack into that. Means no counter on Strike Force. That is likely worth it. This Looter is really close to popping off, but I mean, what can you do with that? Or what can you do about that if you haven't drawn removal of your own? We have not drawn removal of our own, so the answer is nothing. So when they have 7 or more cards engraved, this Looter just draws them a card every turn instead of drawing and discarding. And it's unblockable all game long, so can't stop it from hitting us and getting those cards. Coruscation Mage holding 3 up so that they can assault. Yep. Oof. Well, we get some chump blockers and we get a trampling Druid of the Spade. That's kind of a big deal. And with the rabbit response, these chump blockers could randomly lethal our opponent. We just juice up the trample damage, right? Boom! They are down to 9. But we're down to 13. Pearl of Wisdom, 2 mana, draw 2. It's very efficient. Welcome to my face. We're down to 7. They draw a card. They only have 3 mana up, though. We hope that is not enough to stop a rabid response from... Oh, Mind Whisker. They can block 2 rabbits, take still lethal here. I don't know if we have lethal no matter what, but we can definitely find lethal here if they don't block right. I think this is lethal no matter what. Yeah, no, rabbit response just super gets them. Spry bottom, bottom. There's the GG from opponent. GG it is. Close one, but we are still undefeated. 4-0 now, heading into game 5. All right. Slightly awkward hand here. It needs to draw lands, specifically at plains as well. But if it hits those lands, it can do some great stuff. The lack of early creatures might be beneficial with the Bezos in hand. And then obviously, once we've played Beza, potentially with fish tokens, and then 2 head of the homesteads, like rabbit response is just going to be another kill. Uh-oh. Opponent is stuck on Mountain, which definitely gives us the time to go all the way up the curve here, but it does mean Bezos is going to be a little weaker. I don't know if it's going to trigger anything here. It's not going to give us the treasure, it's not going to give us the fish, and I don't think it's going to give us the card either. Sad day for Bezos. Oh my god. Well, then we don't play Bezos. We make one of our heads offspringing. So that I play a head turn 5, and if I hit land 6, I then play another one with offspring. Oh yeah. Caretaker over Beza. Well, I guess Beza does draw us the card. Once I cast Beza, there will be 5 cards in my hand. And a 4/5 on board is significantly bigger than a 2/2 on board. And even if I just play these without offspring, that's going to be more than enough creatures to get the rabbit response to kill. Yeah, alright. I'll just Beza draw a card here. Now I've got an alternate 5 mana line. I can play head first, and then I can play Caretaker plus Druid, offspringing the other head. So I can still set that up for the long game if it takes that long. Overprotect. Would I rather have a 3/2 and 2 1/1s, or a 4/3 trample and a 2/2? Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage max. Since it's not going to be lethal yet either way, I'm going to go for the slightly bigger individual creatures, but slightly less creatures total. There's Alania's Pathmaker. Land 6, land 6. Oh, baby! Watch this. Now just play a single head of the homestead into a rabbit response, and it's so deadly. Because this is the biggest head of the homestead. Look at this board! Woo! 6 mana for a 3/2 and 5 1/1s. Can they deal a damage to everything on board at instant speed, or are they super rabbit respanced? That is going to kill one of them. Maybe. They're going to minus or minus one. I'm going to respond by making it 2 toughness. Yeah, I mean, this is... Oh, I can't rabbit response. Oh, shoot. Because the Lupin Flower Village gets me here. Do I overprotect? I don't overprotect the 1/1 then. No! That's actually so sad. I was talking about this is the big downside to Lupin Flower Village. And then I totally forgot. Alright, I mean, we still just, like, win if they don't have a board wipe. If they don't have the 2 damage to everybody board wipe. Because the Mythic Rare doesn't even work here. It's each player sacks 5 creatures. I've got more than enough to still have lethal on board after that. Too many Heads of the Homestead. I probably should have cycled this and seen if I hit a white source. Just in case, but if they somehow don't die this turn, they've earned it. Uh-oh. No, they still die. Alright. Cool. Punished by the Lupin Flower Village, but the rest of the deck still popped off like nobody's business. The Offspringing Head of the Homestead. Gross. We are 5-0 heading into round 6. Alright, I have Warren Elder and definitely late game ahead of the Homesteads, but I need to draw a green source. And lands in general. Beautiful. We never didn't have it because we're a whitelisted streamer today. I don't think I've even streamed in a few months. Whitelisted YouTuber. Alright, we're doing great so far. Just hitting all lands here. Elder for Elder's fine, even with all these Head of the Homestead and stuff coming up. I'll offer it, especially with the open mana, they have to consider a trick here, but they don't care. I guess I should have played in full control mode there so that Arena didn't like insta go to combat and kind of let them know we don't have a trick. Oh no. Oh no. Caretaker of their own. Hopefully it's not going to be as astronomical as ours have been. We draw the card here trying to hit land 5 for sure. Okay, that kind of counts. I offspring this and then these cards are just insanely cheap. Alright, Waxwane Witness. I can still attack with Beza. Ooh, that's actually a decision between Fountainport Charmer and Innkeeper's Talent. I feel like I have to just play Charmer. Because it gets attacks with both creatures in and lets me double spell next turn, playing the Innkeeper's Talent and one of these creatures very easily. Well, obviously if we hit a land, we go Head and Talent. If we don't, we go Duo and Talent. Offspringing Waxwane Witness. That's solid. Alright, Duo and Talent it is. Is it better to Innkeeper's Talent pre-combat, get a permanent +1/+1 counter, or is it better to hold Overprotect up for attacks? This is maybe more cheeky than anything. It might be the wrong play, but I'm going to hold up the Overprotect here. And try to get that to just clear their whole board. Worst case scenario, 1 less +1/+1 counter on the board in the grand scheme of things. Okay, well, this Overprotect is going to destroy their soul, so that certainly worked. That's kind of the best case scenario, holding up Overprotect. Yeah, there's the concession from our opponent, and we are 6-0. Heading into the potential final battle. If we win this next game of Magic, then it's the last one of the day. But if not, we've got 3 rounds in the chamber. Alright, this might be my first mulligan of the day. It's got both colors, it's got castable spells, but literally nothing till turn 4 is probably a bit risky. Wow, alright, that works. That's a solid mulligan. Reasonable hand is reasonable. It's still not incredible. The best Innkeeper's Talent hands are ones where you go 2-drop creature and then play the talent turn 3 and level it up. Which maybe I should have even kept the second forest to leave that as an option in case I top deck a 2-drop. Yeah, that was probably wrong of me. Should have got rid of the village. But we didn't top deck a 2-drop creature anyway, so we just run out the talent here and it's fine. Wandertail Mentor, I cannot kill you. Just play a host. So that we can offspring the Charmer. So they're ramping. They get a 4-drop on their turn 3 if they want it. No, they missed land 4. Instead play Vigorous Farming. Oh, never mind. They just wanted to play that before they played a land. For reasons? So any land that they draw... Wow. Every land they draw for the rest of the game adds at least 1 extra mana. If there's a land on top of their deck that's like 2 cards deep or something, then that land's going to tap for 3 mana by the time they draw it. That's super fun. That's super fun. I like that a lot. That's really cool. What else is really cool is a 1-mana Druid of the Spade. Pretty spicy. I'll spread out the +1/+1 counters once I have more creatures that are not summoning sick. But I'm just going to maximize damage output when I have creatures that can attack this turn. Ooh, double Paw Patch Recruit, definitely good. The 2-mana Bumbleflower Sharepot plus the Uncharted Haven came in untapped because of the Vigorous Farming. Opponent's popping off, I like it. We're both popping off here. Does this blow up any permanent? Yeah, that can blow up our Innkeeper's Talent. That would be very sad. I am getting very punished for not keeping double green here. Being able to cast any of these spells and level up talent in the same turn would be big. But I guess with the Sharepot on their board, like, we're never making it to level 3 anyway, and level 2 doesn't actually do anything if they're just going to spend all their mana on blowing up the talent anyway. Word doesn't matter. Okay, so they have 3 power. We're just going to buff the Charmer then so we can attack with everybody. So we play the Overprotect and we sack the village. Because we actually don't need 4 mana anymore at this point. Whoa! 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? I can put them to 2. It's definitely not lethal. Yeah, we just let this damage happen. Close enough to try to overprotect them next turn. And then, yeah, Druid of the Spade, hold up the Lupin Flower Village sacrifice. Forgot this was a rabbit. I should have played that pre-combat, technically. Well, no, I mean, I had the Overprotect. Although I don't think I would end up casting that. Anything they blocked would just be one of these rares against our 1/1. Be fine. Alright, well, kind of the polar opposite of our first draft. I think, I mean, this deck was definitely stronger than the first Alchemy deck we drafted. But I think the first Alchemy deck that we drafted was good. It's just that this deck is insane. This is unreasonably good. And it performs accordingly at a 7-win undefeated run. 7-0 here. Beautiful stuff. It's just the ideal green-white rabbits deck with some support from some really nasty Alchemy cards and one of the biggest bombs in the format. The Innkeeper's Talent was unbeatable. I mean, everything was unbeatable. We didn't lose a game. But Innkeeper's Talent did a lot of work. This Fountain Port Charmer played even better than I thought it would. Just so many positions where we're just not drawing enough lands. Just playing this thing, even without the Offspring trigger to reduce future costs, was super, super helpful. It can get you to double spelling your creatures later. It can get you to just playing them a turn sooner. It was really, really awesome. And the synergy with the Cottontail Caretaker there was very cute. Where if we hadn't cast the Caretaker yet, this can reduce the cost of the Caretaker and the card that we're going to be giving Offspring, so we can play both of those in one turn. Super huge fan of the Alchemy Offspring cards. I think these are all really nasty, really busted. Were there any other Alchemy cards in here that I forgot about? I think that's all of them, just those two in this deck, but they really, really shined in here. They were two of the strongest cards in the whole deck, along with, of course, our incredible rare and our very solid Beza here. This was just a great value play. I think every time we played it, it was a 4 mana, 4/5 draw card, but that's a good deal. It's a perfectly good deal. Yeah, fine amount of removal. We got 3 removal spells with Sonar Strike, Brawl, and Banishing Light. Nice, good mana curve with some Carrot Cakes there early, and the Caretaker is another 2-drop. And these set up the draws. Yeah, just a great deck in general. Had a lot of fun with it, but it's hard not to when you get an undefeated run for the maximum prize out of 2,200 gems and 6 Bloomburrow Alchemy packs. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.